Gretchen DeBacker, Matt Killam, and Kevin Mullen.
Into the 419, powered by WGTE and presented by Wetro Wealth Management. It's Mayor Monday. I'm Kevin Mullen.
Gretchen DeBacker.
Matt Killam.
We are visiting Tree City, USA.
That's right.
Sylvania is our stop today on Mayor Monday. We're going to be joined by Sylvania Mayor Mark Frye and the Sylvania Schools Superintendent, Dr. Veronica Motley.
Excited for that.
Yeah, looking forward to that conversation. I've had a chance to get to know both of them at various sort of professional capacities, kind of minimally, but impressed with both of them and excited to, again, as we do here on Mayor Monday, get a view of Sylvania from the eyes of people that just absolutely love and care for and serve that community. And there's no exception here with Mayor Frye and Dr. Motley as well, so looking forward to that. It's Monday.
Yes.
And any exciting things over the weekend? I went to go see the St. John's musical.
Oh, yes. How was it?
Fantastic. I mean,
What if he just panned it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, well,
These kids were
the character lacked depth.
That's right.
So I went into it. I mean, I've seen this show. I've seen St. John's do this show before because my brother was the lead.
No, you're kidding.
When he was in high school.
Was your brother better or worse?
So Stephen is incredibly talented, but
That's not answering
I
the
actually
question.
talked with So I actually talked to somebody. So like Stephen's a phenomenal singer, but he always, especially in high school, was just finding his way into musical theater and sort of the movement side of it. So he's not a dancer. Had the conversation with Rob Koenig, who's the head of Toledo School for the Arts, but he's been helping with the St. John's musical for 25 years.
Oh, I didn't know that.
His first audition that he helped with was my brother's first audition for the show. And he was telling me the story last night that like Stephen's part of the reason why he's been doing this all these years is that he watched somebody with more talent than they knew what to do with. And he was like, all right, I can help.
Yeah.
That's cool.
It's a great story.
All that to say, Stuart, who was the lead Jay Pierpont Finch in How to Sing in Business, is fantastic. Has a great voice and moves really well.
This is a weird logistics question, but what time did this show? I mean, you must be exhausted.
Oh my goodness. So I looked at my watch. It was 9 o'clock, and we hit intermission. And I was
Intermission
like,
at 9.
Know how old I am?
Yeah,
No,
I can't do
that
this.
show needs to start at 4 p.m. and be over at 7:30.
So that would have been that was yesterday's show. So that was Sunday's show, was a matinee.
Oh, good.
That would have been the right thing for me to do.
Yeah.
Sure.
I went Thursday.
Yeah.
Mistake.
But it was fantastic. It
Good.
was so good.
Yeah.
Everybody did a great job, and it's exciting knowing the work that goes into that to see kind of all of that come together. It's just a lot of fun. So enjoyed having them on the program. Of course, Matt, we missed you on that day, but you're back.
I'm back. Got back in the saddle.
Ready for a full week.
Spent some time in Washington, D.C.
I did, yes. Our nation's capital, which was freezing.
Really?
But yeah, it was cold, very cold there. And this is the third year going with the Toledo Regional Alliance. So leaders from the city, the county, TARDA, the Metro Parks. Of course, I get the privilege of working for during the day. And what we do is we have gotten more sophisticated in the 3 years. We organize ourselves around projects and priorities and policy. So
Who'd you share a room with?
Myself. No one else wanted to be anywhere near me. They encouraged me to stay in my own hotel as well.
I can relate to that.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I get it. But yeah, I'm honored to represent not only the Metro Parks, but our region with that great group of people.
All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we kick off Mayor Monday with the mayor of Sylvania, Mark Frye. We'll be right back on the 419.
Support for the 419 comes from Wetro Wealth Management, where we understand that your financial path is personal. Advisory services are offered through Capital Investment Advisory Services, LLC. Securities offered through Capital Investment Group, Inc. Member FINRA and SIPC. More information at wetroadvisors.com.
The 419, powered by WGTE, is made possible in part by supporters like you. Thank you.
Introducing The Local Thread, a community news series uniting voices and storytellers from across the region. In partnership with La Prensa, the Toledo Free Press, the Sojourner's Truth, Toledo Public Schools, and Rethinking Jails and Justice. The Local Thread brings you stories and conversations that connect our community. Hear it weeknights at 7 on FM 91 with early access on podcast platforms each morning. The Local Thread, only on WGTE.
Welcome back into the 419. It's Mayor Monday, and we're visiting Sylvania, Ohio. We're joined now by Sylvania Mayor Mark Frye. Mayor, thank you so much for joining us.
Happy to do it. Thanks for having me.
This is term number 1
It is.
for you. How's it going?
So far, so good. Lots to do. Basically, mayor style, my predecessor resigned and retired from office after 29 years. So I was mayor, filling out the rest of his term, ran for a full term in November of 25, obviously, and then we're fortunate enough to win. And as the saying goes, there's 2 ways to run, unopposed or scared. I was running unopposed, so all I needed was my vote, and I was in.
Now, Mayor Frye, were you on City Council previously? What was your experience that got you to the position of running unopposed for mayor?
Sure, I was on council for 10 years.
Okay.
I originally was appointed and then ran for 3 terms. The last 4 years on council, I was president, and based on the city charter, when the mayor resigns from office, the president of council basically is sworn in as mayor, and that's what happened.
Very nice.
How about that? And that this was an ideal situation. You took a step back and said, why am I doing this to myself? I mean, now you are community oriented on a molecular level, certainly, but where, at some point where you're like, hi, this is a lot. You're a very busy person. Why does this matter to you?
I want to give back to the community. I know it sounds like, hey, I want world peace kind of thing, but giving back to the community is important. I work in a segment where I work with a lot of public sector entities, and I've moved the metro parks for sure.
Thank you, Mayor Frye. Please.
And Lord's a second.
Yeah,
Perfect.
So no, it's really that simple. I want to try to give back to the community. I served on before I was on council. I was on Board of Law Industries and then Board of Developmental Disabilities. Served there for 12 years, 6 years as president. So kind of ingrained in trying to provide service back to the community. I moved here well over 30 years ago now. Love the area, and I think it's just a great place to live.
Is being the mayor of Sylvania a full-time position? Paid full-time or?
It's not paid full-time, no. It can be full-time, depending on what's going on. It varies. It's probably between 10 hours and 20 hours a week. My wife would probably tell you it's a bit more because when you're not digging holes or anything like that. This is not a physical kind of thing. It's a mental thing. So turning it off and trying to remember, hey, by the way, you need to spend time focused on other things other than doing your day job or doing this situation in my role as mayor.
Well, and when you have a day job that has you sort of around the region, you can go to the grocery store and not be, Mark Frye, Palmer Energy, walking up and down the aisles of Sauter's, but you're always the mayor.
I am.
And so, I mean, that had to have been, even the shift from city council to now mayor, I imagine that trip to the grocery store changed a little bit, that you're getting more people saying, hey, while I got you.
I've started to have some of that. I believe there's people in Sylvania 10 years from now that are still going to think Mayor Stow is still mayor.
Sure.
Because
Is he telling people that?
I don't think so. I think Mayor Stow, to his credit, obviously, he's been a wellspring of information and wisdom. I've called on him a number of times saying, hey, Mayor, what do you think of this? What's your thought process? That wisdom of 30 years in the role, watching the city evolve and change with his efforts, as well as obviously other members of the community, city council and the like. But fundamentally, that's been helpful for me. But by the large, Kevin, I'm still pretty much anonymous.
Yeah.
How do you put this down? Is there some place in your house that you decompress, or is there a hobby? How are you able to sort of quiet, or is that still to be determined?
I'm still trying to figure that out.
Get it.
The 2 ways that I can mentally disengage is reading a book or to play golf.
Okay.
I'm not particularly good at either one anymore.
Yeah.
But that's where I have to focus my mind enough that I can shove everything else off to the side.
What do you like to read?
Science fiction.
Awesome.
Tell us a little bit about you said you came to the region about 30 years ago. Tell us a little bit about that journey, what brought you here. you've lived in Sylvania this whole time?
Sure. I came to the area many years ago in the late 1980s. I had a job with one of the glass companies. I became their energy buyer. Worked there for 4.5 years, moved to Boston for a year. Great place to be a tourist, particularly if you have an unlimited checkbook. Didn't like it. I'm from central Pennsylvania originally, my wife and I are. And so much more small town feel.
Sure.
Boston doesn't have that, obviously.
Right.
Where'd you live in Boston?
I was living in a place called Natick, which is about 20 miles outside of Boston. So you're taking the train back and forth, and I'm flying 3-4 days a week out from one city to the next from Boston. And I don't know if you've ever been in Boston traffic or anywhere on the East Coast when you have traffic. I mean, I realized I didn't want to stay in Boston. I was, I was coming back. My flight was delayed, and it was 2 o'clock in the morning. I was coming through the tunnels in Boston at the time, and there was no road construction, there was no accident, and traffic was dead stopped. I'm like, I got to get out of this place.
That's
one of the things I love about the Toledo area.
Yeah.
20 minutes, you could get anywhere.
That city is built for horses and having everything compounded. We have relatives that live on the Cape. I went to school on the East Coast, so I do love Boston to visit.
Yep.
To your point.
Yeah, Boston is one of my favorite cities, but I have never spent more than a weekend there.
Oh, okay.
So I don't have.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah,
Okay.
yes, sir.
Go enjoy the activities and sights and circumstances, and have some great meals, and
Get out.
that's all wonderful. But
And they're insufferable sports teams, which is I could do a whole show on that. But
I'm a Celtics fan, so I don't know. You know.
so is my father. Yeah. Speaking
I
of,
like your dad. Then
Yeah.
I never met him, but I like him.
well, that's because you haven't met him. No, I'm just kidding. I love my dad.
Sorry,
Science
Dad.
fiction, Star Trek.
Love Star Trek.
Which one is your favorite?
New Generation. I
Same.
think.
My dad's the same. Yeah, and I love it, and I agree.
I don't want to sound like the Big Bang Theory, but some of the episodes on the original Star Trek, I actually saw when I was very small.
Yeah.
When they were actually running on TV, not on reruns, actual first run. But I remember not being able to see. My dad was like, "You got to go to bed. You got to go to bed," because my mom was yelling. So that was. But I wanted to watch.
We are a Star Trek family, for sure.
We're talking with Mark Frye, the mayor of Sylvania. Introduce us to Sylvania. When you're talking to, you're traveling around the country and you're telling somebody about your community, what do you say?
Sylvania is a wonderful place. We don't make things. We're not making widgets in Sylvania. We have great healthcare. We have great school system. We have the opportunity to make great citizens and do some wonderful things in our community, and that's one of our primary focus areas. We just have a vibrant bedroom community in the greater Toledo area. And as I've said to many people, if you're 15 miles away, whether you live in Sylvania Township or the city, you say you're from Sylvania. If you're 100 miles away, you say you're from Toledo. If you're 400 miles, 500 miles away or more, you say you're from Ohio. And that's just the way, because if you're in southern Florida and you say, "Oh, I'm from Sylvania, Ohio," they're going to look at you like you got rocks in your head. They don't have a clue. You say you're from Ohio, then they're thinking about, then you immediately hear them click into their mind, and they're looking at a map of the United States with the lines on it, saying, "Okay, I knew,
Right.
that's where Ohio is."
Right.
You've chosen Sylvania to be your home for the last 30 years.
Yep.
Why?
I just love the area. School district is phenomenal. I think a lot of people come to the Sylvania area and the city of Sylvania specifically because of the schools. We have great parks, obviously.
Of course.
And outdoor Sylvania as well. I got to give them props.
Yep.
But we have a wonderful, basically joint recreation district is incredible with Pacesetter Park and the like. But fundamentally, it boils down to schools. We came to the Sylvania area from West Toledo because of the schools.
This program airs Toledo, Bryan, Defiance, and Lima. I think folks obviously in the Toledo area probably have a good idea of geographically where Sylvania is located.
Sure.
But talk to me about the geographic boundaries of what makes up Sylvania versus, I guess, maybe Sylvania Township.
That's tough. Sylvania Township and Sylvania border looks like a congressional district. It's pretty jagged. One side of the street, literally all over the place, you have Sylvania Township. The other side, you have the city, just based on the nature. We only have 6.5 square miles in the city. Sylvania, so it's very compact, and a lot of that is roads and cemeteries. Sure. So we don't have a lot of space. The township is obviously geographically much larger, but as far as it goes, if you look at the total, the northwestern corner, effectively, of the Sylvania area is the city of Sylvania. The surrounding part to the east, to the south, is the township by and large.
How many people do you represent?
19,000, give or take.
19,000. That's more than I would have guessed.
One of the unique, so I grew up in Sylvania, grew up in...
This is not your fault.
That's right, don't take credit for that.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
So grew up at Woodstream Farms, I loved it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, was able to, I didn't walk to school every day, but it was, you know, a small enough, tight enough community that I could walk to school.
Highland, I assume?
What's that?
Highland?
I went to St. Joe, Sylvania.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Yep, so I went to St. Joe, Sylvania, so I would cut through Lord's University's campus to get when I forgot a book or something. My mom was like, I'm not taking you back for that. You're on your own. But love the community. One of the things that I think is unique when you look at small towns is your downtown area.
Yep.
You know, having bars and restaurants, retail. How much of your day today is spent on, you know, trying to maintain and grow that vibrant neighborhood?
I have a very talented staff, so they do a lot of that lifting from an administrative level. My thought process is more about trying to set the overall objectives. I see myself, I hate to say this, but as a CEO to some extent, I'm not rolling my sleeves up doing the blocking and tackling. We have other individuals to do that. The nice thing about the downtown area is we do have basically the Redbird, Sylvania Redbird, and they do a phenomenal job. Volunteers who are going out, many of them are business owners in the Sylvania downtown footprint or surrounding area, and they are volunteering their time to try to make the downtown footprint in Sylvania a more vibrant place to live, and they do an incredible job. They're a godsend for our community.
It is not only a bustling downtown with new things, but it's maintained a charming aesthetic as well. What's the duality of sort of old and new down there?
I think the duality is one of those things where the market drives that.
Yes, sir.
We have places like you know, a local bookstore, for instance. We have restaurants, we have bars, and that kind of vibe is something that's not always captured.
That's right.
You know, when you try to make it into a much larger retail footprint, we are obviously investing a lot in the downtown. We did last year. We're going to do that again this year. We're going to do the 2 blocks basically on Main Street north of Monroe Street, and we refurbished the one. We're in the process of refurbishing the other. First time we've touched it in over 40 years.
How about that?
We had 100-year-old utilities there, and we decided many years ago the city was squirreling money away to put the opportunity together to refurbish the downtown because it needed it, and it was vibrant. But we expect that once this is finished, somewhere around October of this year, mid to late October this year, that's going to be really, really pretty amazing.
I'll tell you what, it is something that's not necessarily intuitive to the average person, but thinking about planning that ahead of time as opposed to when the disaster has occurred is a sign of forethought and real leadership. So that's something that is a sexy thing to be celebrated, but certainly something that should be talked about a lot. That's forward thinking, and the downtown area there is thriving as a result of not just your leadership, to your point, but a collective. So congratulations on that.
What are you doing to sort of develop relationships with some of the other regional mayors?
I knew most of the mayors because of my day job. Anyways, Mayor Kapskevich, Mayor Pedro. I've met in passing the mayor of Oregon. I've not had a chance to really spend much time with him, or the mayor of Perrysburg yet. I want to get to know those 2 individuals. I've met Maumee's mayor as well, just in passing, because that's kind of a new thing.
Yeah.
It's kind of a transition. There's a whole transition.
Yeah.
A lot of more
Yes.
seasoned mayors, and then I'm kind of the leading edge of that transition. So I want to get to spend some time. They all have a different perspective. It's always good to get different perspectives. Hey, this is what's going on in our community, and we've done a little bit of that at Lake Erie West Regional Council.
Sure.
It used to be called TMACOG meetings and the like, but not as much as I think that I would like to do. I want to continue to develop those relationships, to be able to tap on their shoulder and say, hey, you know, we're dealing with this. Have you seen something similar, and how did your city handle it?
That's right.
We're talking with Mayor Frye, Mark Frye, the mayor of the city of Sylvania. What's the biggest headache for you? What's the thing that keeps you up at night as it relates to this mayor role?
The biggest thing that keeps me up at night is
Coming on
safety
this
of.
show.
Well, that's a close second. The biggest thing is safety of our citizens. I'm the conservator of the peace, and while the police chief is out there leading the team of officers and highly seasoned professionals, the bottom line is that's the thing that keeps me up at night. I know when I became mayor, I sat down with all the senior staff on the leadership, and I know a little bit about the legal stuff. I've done tons of contracts. I know about streets. I know a lot about utilities. You know, I know a lot about economic development and community interaction. I don't know squat about being a police officer. So I asked the chief exactly the same thing you just asked me, which is, what keeps you up at night? And if I get a call at 3 o'clock in the morning from you, what's it going to be about? And she basically said, the thing keeps me up at night is an officer getting injured or shot, or some sort of a tragedy where there's a homicide or a death in our community. And she said, those are the things that your phone's going to ring on.
When you put all these things into a blender again, and I know you to be a thoughtful person and a strategist, but that is now part of your life.
Indeed.
You know, that talk to me a little bit about the challenge of that. You know, again, how do you balance this? And you have a team that supports you and experts, and they're parts of the team. But this is life and death, quite literally.
Can be.
How do you manage that? How do you compartmentalize that? And I mean that in a helpful CEO way. How does that function? Are there books do you read? Is there, when you benchmark other areas across the country, where do you find guidance or solace?
Those are hard decisions. You know, my faith is part of that.
Yes, sir.
Is part of that role and part of that balance. Trying to say, okay, what is the right thing to do? You know, how does your Christian faith impact this? I don't want to focus. I know this is the circumstances, but fundamentally, that's part of this puzzle. And trying to say, okay, this is an important piece, and really looking at it, saying, if you were in the other person's shoes. How would you want to be treated? How would you want to have the reaction? How do we make sure that people are walking so that you have a 10-year-old who forgot their book and mom or dad says, no, you're on your own. Kevin, you're on your own. You got to walk back and go get that because of the nature of that. It's safe enough in our community to do that. Many communities in our country, unfortunately, I'm guessing the parents wouldn't be willing to do that. Sure. And I like to think that Sylvania's one of those places that's remain like that, where you can go on vacation if you need it and not worry about your house getting broken into, even if you forgot to lock your doors.
Sure. He's Mayor Mark Frye with the City of Sylvania. We come back, let's talk about the future of Sylvania. What are some of the goals and some of the things that we might see coming to what I still love to refer to as Tree City, USA.
That's right.
It's a beautiful corner of Northwest Ohio. We're talking with Mark Frye, the mayor of the City of Sylvania, here on a Mayor Monday on the 419.
To me, community means connecting to others.
I'm Donnie Miller, and welcome to The Point.
I love CBS Kids!
We're a community committed to education. Discover new ideas, dive into exciting subjects, and engage with the world around you.
I would send them personally a t-shirt. Crime doesn't pay in the old West End, pass it on. That's how we cleaned up the neighborhood.
Vision loss for people is not the end.
It's a story, it's the next chapter.
WGTE Public Media invites you to Get Out and Play Day.
Monday through Friday, it's the 419 powered by WGTE. With Matt Killam, Gretchen DeBacker, I'm Kevin Mullen. What can people expect on the show?
It's going to be an hour, a reminder of why this is a great place to live, work, and play.
WGTE, where you come to watch, listen, and learn.
Welcome back into the 419. You know your mic works, right? That's how that works?
Yes.
All right. Some of these, we'll get it figured out eventually. It's Mayor Monday. We're talking with Mark Frye, the mayor of the City of Sylvania. Let's talk about the future. As you look to 3.5 years left on your first term as mayor, what are your goals for that first term?
I want construction to be finished. The downtown footprint will be done. The bridge on Monroe Street will be finished at the end of this year. Still have some cleanup and some gussying up, as my mom or my grandma would have said. But basically, I'm looking forward to that. I think create a transformative momentum to our community. We're going to make it look even better than what it looked prior to that. The downtown, I think if you've been to the downtown footprint, the first block, think about that, because the first block was always vibrant and active, and the second block didn't look the same. There weren't as many businesses and such close by and up front towards the street. I think slowly over time, those things are going to start to shift, particularly on the second block. I think the market will drive some of those investments by either people in our community or elsewhere. So I'm looking forward to helping be the catalyst to that, to continue that transformation in our community.
We've talked to some of the other Mayor Monday guests about data centers. Many of the regional mayors are faced with will they, won't they, should they, shouldn't they, about data centers. What's your position, or has Sylvania been approached about data centers?
Sylvania has not been. I mean, we have 6.5 square miles, and it's basically all houses, which is good. I mean, you know, I love the fact that we're a residential community, and it's wonderful. We don't physically have the space in order to do what effectively is the kind of data centers they want to build now. What's called hyperscale data centers. You need 500, 600, maybe 1,000 acres of property. There's nothing in Sylvania. We only, like I said, we only have 6.5 square miles. So there's nothing in Sylvania that would permit that. Probably not even in Sylvania Township. So it's, you're looking at Richfield, you're looking at Spencer, you're looking at some of the, you know, maybe Waterville Township, Monclova Township, some of those areas where you have that sort of available property. And I'm not saying that those places are necessarily going to be looked at, but if you're going to build a hyperscale data center, that's the general corridor that you would be looking at in Lucas County.
The general public, you know, knows about this much, right? Very little of the actual kind of challenges and issues, and I think we, at least for me, I pick up little nuggets from, you know, a news story here or a conversation with a friend or something on social media. What are the, you know, the actual facts of the benefits and the challenges facing communities as it relates to data centers?
If you have an opportunity to put a data center in your area, the reason that those large pieces of property are looked at and are not looking at refurbishing 100 or 200 acres in the city of Toledo, for instance, in a more industrialized area, boils down to a very simple thing. The electrical loads, the consumption of electricity at these particular locations are so large that you have to have very high capacity voltage lines to basically feed these facilities, and or you have to generate your own power. The newer ones that are going to be constructed over the next 10 years or so are going to probably have their own generation to a significant extent. That generation will be fired with natural gas, and therefore those places where there's large high pressure natural gas pipelines is where they're going to look. So they need property, they need water, they need high pressure natural gas, they need power lines, they need labor. The confluence of those circumstances gets you to western Lucas County, in parts of Wood County around the Northwest Ohio area, because there's the confluence of those things all engage in those particular locations. The city of Toledo has the high voltage lines, but you cannot build a 48-inch high pressure, 700-pound gauge natural gas pipeline through the center of a city. You would never get the permits to do it, and I don't think you should. They did that in the more rural areas with some of the pipelines they built in the last 10 or 15 years. So we have a collective choice to make in our general community, which boils down to, if we don't want to do this, we have, that's a choice, and we have to recognize that these billions of dollars of investment are not going to come into our community. If we do, there's going to be some impact on certain areas in the greater Toledo area. I'm not advocating one way or another, but what I would say is there's an old story, and as far as I know, it's true. And the story is that in the early right around the turn of the 20th century, of the early 1900, a gentleman came into the city of Toledo and said, we want to build a large car manufacturing and automotive assembly facility in your community. We really want to do it in Toledo because of the lake access, the availability of rail, and the vibrant and growing area of Toledo. The people in Toledo at that time, or the city fathers, so to speak, said no. His name was Henry Ford.
Right. Mayor Kevsikavich tells that story.
It's true.
Often.
Based on what I've heard.
How did that guy do?
He did pretty well.
Yeah.
And to my point, Toledo, did Toledo survive? Absolutely. Northwest Ohio continued to go okay. But what would have happened had we brought 50,000 automotive assembly jobs into the Toledo area? What would this now look like? I bet we would have an interstate highway to Columbus right now.
I bet you're right. One of the other things we ask our other Mayor Monday guests is about housing. And many of them identify that as the number one concern or issue facing their community, the older housing stock, the need to or the desire to develop more housing. Is that a concern for you in Sylvania?
It is. We have lots of varied housing stock. Obviously, living in a community, many of the homes. My home was built in the mid 1960s. My wife and I decided to stay and refurbish it and not go out into a cornfield somewhere and get another one. Nothing wrong with that decision, but that wasn't for us. I believe that there's when you invest in your community, as Sylvania is investing in its community, there will be a natural refurbishment. When somebody does something, when your neighbor does something, whether it's their front yard or they're making an investment in their front yard, I don't know what your reaction is, but I know what my wife and I's reaction. Hey, what are we doing? What could we do? What can we do?
No, right. You got to spruce it up.
You naturally move forward with that process. I think the same thing will happen, and as the further you get away from the interstate access to interstates, the more likely it is to have those closer bedroom communities. As long as the bedroom community feels safe and everybody is comfortable, there's going to be those investments.
If you were going to have some guests into Sylvania for the day, maybe someone that wanted to invest, or maybe just relatives, what would you do? What would you show them in Sylvania or the region for the day to show it off?
J&G's Pizza.
Of course.
Inside the Five.
Yeah.
What's your favorite pizza at J&G's?
Well, straight small pizza with pepperoni. Very simple, easy. Enjoy those two spots. There's, as far as locations, I'd take them to Pace Center. I mean, I've had people from all over Ohio in different spots. When I say, hey, by the way, I'm from Sylvania, most of the time I get the glaze over, but every now and then I say, that's Pace Center Park. We love that place. We've taken our kids there for soccer tournaments or baseball tournaments or what have you. And that, to me, is part of it. Going to see the metro parks, going to see Olander Park, Outdoor Sylvania, depending on what the interest of the people are. There was a place called Fossil Park that Outdoor Sylvania runs. Now, that's not something that, in my circumstances at my age, that I'm particularly interested in digging around rocks and knocking them open to find fossils.
You are the fossil.
I am.
You can just hide in your yard and have people find you.
Exactly.
I will tell you that Olander was my Lucy's favorite park, and I tell Erica Murray, the great leader of the park system there, that. And I was always trying to coax her into staying in Metro Park. I was like, yeah, but what about one of the ones that where she's like, no, it's Olander.
No, it's Olander.
So that is the Lucy Killam stamp of approval. That is her favorite park in the area, hands down.
My wife and I did kayak yoga at Olander.
Yeah.
And
this is an example of a thing that he just says out of the blue.
Only reason
is that a thing?
It's a thing. I believe the only reason why I was invited to do it was because she knew, I'm going to fall over.
So how do you do warrior's pose on a kayak, Kevin? I got to ask.
You don't.
For about a half a second, and then you're in the water.
Okay,
First
fair
of all,
enough.
Kevin describes every pose he's in, period, as the warrior's pose.
That's right.
This is warrior pose.
Your dog is also a warrior.
You're welcome, buddy. I teed that right up for you.
Oh, my gosh.
So,
all right, Mayor Frye, it's now time to play Gretchen's Wacky Quiz.
Thank you, Matt.
You're welcome.
I don't know.
It's really bad.
I mean, you were off for a couple of days.
I know.
Come back.
I wasn't vacationing.
This is your first day back. I mean, give me some energy, Matt.
Okay.
Gretchen's
Wacky Quiz.
4 rapid-fire questions from me. Gretchen's going to ask you your favorite thing in or about Sylvania, and then you and Matt will describe Sylvania in exactly 9 words. Here we go. If you were a DJ,
I got you.
If you were a DJ, what would your DJ name be?
Oh my gosh.
Slim.
My man.
DJ Slim.
DJ Slim, I love it.
From now on, that's how I'm referring to you in public meetings.
Campaign signs for next time. That's what they're going to say.
What's something that makes you...
It's certainly not accurate anymore either. One time it was.
What's something that makes you angry?
people that don't listen when other people are talking.
I'm sorry, what were you saying?
Exactly.
What's a song that's guaranteed to cheer you up?
Walking on Sunshine.
Good answer.
That's a good song.
And who is your celebrity lookalike?
Oh.
I would love to say the guy who is, I don't remember what the actor's name is, who's on Outlander, because that's my wife loves Jamie Fraser. So whatever that guy's name is.
All right.
I think you look like the guy.
I don't think I look like him, according to my wife, but that's what I have to say.
Well, you're on the show, not her, so you can say it.
Same thing.
What is your number one most favorite thing, or what you consider to be the best thing about Sylvania?
I think the people. People are friendly. I was just talking with somebody a few minutes ago. When you're in Sylvania and you're driving through the neighborhood, people wave all the time. They stop. When you're taking a walk, they're going to talk to you. When you're at the grocery store, they're going to speak with you, and people are friendly. They're respectful, and recognize that so far, they've treated me with some privacy. They haven't come knocking on the door saying, I want to talk about this, even though they know that I live there.
Mm-hmm.
So I appreciate the people.
Great.
That's a good start for the 9 words to describe Slovenia or the region.
Okay.
So 1, I'm going to give you the people, and I'll give you 2, which is the community. So we've got 7 more. Let's do it.
Just general words?
Yes, sir, absolutely. J and G's, that's on the list for sure. Inside the 5, we're halfway done already. You've already done the work.
So I think generally Redbird.
Redbird, love it.
Parks.
Parks for sure.
Schools.
Yes, sir. Schools, love it. 2 more.
Trees.
Trees.
Gotta say trees.
What's your wife's name?
Cynthia.
Cynthia, you got your list.
Fair enough.
A strong close.
Mark Frye, the mayor of the city of Sylvania. I know you guys have got some really cool downtown festivals, things like that. Talk to me about dates and what's coming up this summer in Sylvania. Fall
Festival is mid-October. Actually this year, because we're still probably going to be under construction downtown, that'll be out by Centennial Terrace, and that'll hopefully be the last year. We're going to bring it back downtown. We got a Memorial Day parade coming up.
I love it.
We were fortunate enough in 3-4 weeks. We're going to have a tree planting. We're going to plant an oak tree on city property by the administrative building, by the Craigstyle Administrative Building, and that's for the 250th anniversary. That's a whole thing we're starting to focus on. Obviously, the 250th anniversary of the founding of our country, and every county in Ohio was going to get 1 tree, and we were fortunate enough to be the tree city, obviously. So we asked for that and said we want to have that there. We're going to have a ceremony in a few weeks on that, and I'm probably going to have a shovel in my hand with a goofy-looking hat on the top of my head.
We expect nothing less.
Story of my life.
Mayor Mark Frye with the City of Sylvania, thank you so much.
Yeah. I enjoyed it. Thanks for the opportunity.
When we come back, we're going to dive into Sylvania schools, and we're joined by Sylvania Superintendent Dr. Veronica Motley. We'll be right back on the 419.
Support for the 419 comes from Witro Wealth Management, where we understand that your financial path is personal. Advisory services are offered through Capital Investment Advisory Services, LLC. Securities offered through Capital Investment Group, Inc. Member FINRA and SIPC. More information at WitroAdvisors.com.
Destination Toledo. Whether you're a local or a visitor, Destination Toledo invites you to explore the region and be a tourist in Toledo. Find events, dining, and things to do at visittoledo.org.
WorkSpring. HR issues and employee well-being go hand in hand. WorkSpring supports employers through compliance, training, and wellness because healthy workplaces don't happen by accidents. Learn more at workspring.org.
Toledo Refining Company, a subsidiary of PDF Energy. Toledo Refining Company is a supplier of fuels that keep our region moving. Located in Oregon, Ohio, the refinery processes crude oil into gasoline, diesel, jet fuel, and other petroleum products.
And TARDA, celebrating its 55th year of connecting Northwest Ohioans to their community. More information at TARDA.
Welcome back into the 419. That was directed at Matt.
That was directed at Matt.
Dr. Motley. It's Mayor Monday, and we're visiting the city of Sylvania. We're joined now by Sylvania School Superintendent Dr. Veronica Motley. Dr. Motley, thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here.
I will tell you what, it was a pressure-filled tee up here. Mayor Frye mentioned schools about 93 times in a short segment.
Yep.
So clearly something that's very important. My father went to Sylvania school system when there was just one.
Okay.
or none. He's a very, very old man. So, but there's a lot to be proud of here.
Well, and you and Mayor Frye are both also in sort of unique positions where you're stepping into roles where the building where you office is named after your predecessor.
Yes. Brad Rieger, Dr.
Yes.
Brad Rieger.
So
yes.
long legacies that you're
Who's
following.
a known monster.
That's right.
Oh my goodness, he is a great guy.
He is, and he also
really
has a
is.
great
He's phenomenal.
podcast.
You've been in the role for about almost 6 years?
6 years.
Oh, you're
yes,
kidding me.
Yes.
That's longer than
I
I-
actually started in August of 2020. So I'm in my 6th year as superintendent.
And you're only 27 years old, and this is what it's done to you.
Absolutely.
That's
Thank
right.
you. Well, really 32, but I'll take 27.
Yes.
Coming in August of 2020, I know, we hate to go back and revisit
There was
the
nothing going on
pandemic,
then.
But,
No.
Yeah.
obviously
Easy
challenges.
peasy.
What has changed in the district over the last 6 years?
I would start with, frankly, when COVID hit, or the pandemic, that little thing, really how we were thrust into using technology for instruction and delivering instruction. It forced us as a district, like many other Ohio districts, to look at how we were going to deliver instruction to our students on a regular basis with continuity, with integrity, and also with rigor. And we were all learning at the same time what this was going to look like. And then what we have found that after we were on the other side, that some of that information that we learned in the new technology, we kept it because we found out it really augmented what we were already doing. It enhanced some things we also learned that we didn't want to do. But more importantly, we figured out, wow, this is a way to help our students be prepared for after they cross the stage, because quite frankly, colleges were already doing it. So it kind of brought us forward where we may not have otherwise gone.
What effects are you still seeing? I know most people think COVID is over. We don't have to think about it anymore, but are there residual effects on parents and students because of the pandemic?
Yeah, in some regard, yes. And I think it's diminishing as we get further away from that moment in time.
So is Gretchen.
I think that we saw a very significant increase in anxiety, not only with our students, but with staff.
Yes.
And for some instances, like, people were fearful. Was it going to be forever? Was this a forever change? And not knowing what it was going to be like on the other side. But one thing that we've been able to do is work with our counselors. We've partnered with UT to do an assessment once a year with some of our students to kind of prepare and identify for those students who are still struggling with anxiety. We've really increased how we serve students with a variety of resources, not only within the district, but beyond the school walls, and working with agencies across the area. And also how we're just providing lessons about teaching kids about how to self-regulate and how to recognize when they're feeling anxious, and giving them the skills to cope through that so they can get through that moment and that skill. And that's a skill they'll take forever, right? That's something that we try to do.
The way that you just described that, I think you're a perfect person to ask this question too. I think everyone is familiar with the title of superintendent, but talk to me about what that role is and means from a CEO standpoint, or practicality, or the I guess the clinical sense of it, but the reality of your days, quarters, and 3 to 5 year planning. We all say superintendent, but what does that mean? What does that role do, even in an ideal state?
I would think, first of all, people need to understand and recognize that a school superintendent is unlike any other CEO. First of all, it's a lifestyle. My job is 24/7, and the spectrum of responsibilities from
I believe it.
Getting up and driving roads at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning in the winter when you're anticipating.
And I've seen you drive. That's not great. It's not an ideal state.
If you see a black Jeep with a little cavapoo in the front seat,
we don't use that language on this show, just to let you know.
You should just cancel school. Don't even bother doing the drive.
Just cancel school. And it's interesting because it's not always just snow. It can be road conditions. It can be freezing fog, which was something very new to me. I was not familiar with freezing fog coming from Northeast Ohio. But there's just so many things. So that's one part of it, right? The other part is making sure that our staff and our families have what they need to be able to take advantage of the opportunities that we offer in Sylvania schools, and always looking for what's next. You can't relax as a school superintendent and say, we're good enough. This is fine. We have to look at what's coming down the road. What can we anticipate? Any educator, any superintendent will tell you we are preparing children for jobs that we don't even know exist. So we have to be driven to ask the questions, kick the status quo. What's coming down the road? How can we improve? What's the new thing out there? And do the research to make sure it's something that fits for our community, and recognizing that Sylvania is unique within itself.
Yes, ma'am.
We have generation after generation after generation that returns to Sylvania. And Mayor Frye spoke to this a little bit. We have folks who reside in Sylvania and have gone to Sylvania schools for 3 and 4 generations. And sometimes they will go away to college, and then they decide once they start to become that age of they want to have children, they want to come back to Sylvania so their children can have the same educational, academic, well-rounded experience that they had as a child.
We're talking with
it's awesome.
Superintendent Veronica Motley from Sylvania Schools. Can you just tell us the numbers of the district high school, the numbers of students? And
Sure. We're around 77 to 8,000 in any given year. We're seeing a slight decrease right now, but we anticipate some bubbles coming in the near future. But right now we have 2 high schools, Northview Wildcats and Southview Cougars. And
Which one's your favorite? Say it right into that camera.
Both. Love them.
Yes, ma'am.
Love them.
Yep.
Very clear. Very clear.
Yes, love
Good try, though.
Yes,
Good
sorry.
try.
Yes.
Appreciate that. I would also say we have 3 junior highs and we have 7 elementary buildings. We also serve students as early as preschool. And then we serve students with special needs till they age out to age 21. So we have a breadth of services that we provide for our students and our families, and our high schools are comprehensive. We have our own career ed programs housed within both of our high schools. So we have over 14 career programs that if our students want to go into the medical field or engineering, they have a choice, and they can go to either high school to follow their career path already identified. So it's a fabulous school district, and it's been a privilege to serve.
So you're in a unique seat today, right? Having started 6 years ago, but you've also announced your retirement.
Yes, sir.
What do you hope when people look back on your time with Sylvania? What do you hope is your legacy? And what are you most excited about for the next guy that gets to drive the roads at 4:30 in the morning?
And where's the party going to be?
Good question.
Yeah.
You know? First of all, I think what I'm most proud of is that we've been able to continue to maintain the legacy. Our children are still continuing to thrive, despite when I came and what we started with, going through that time. Our programs have expanded. We continue to partner with different community agencies to make sure our students are having authentic experiences with businesses in our district, to make sure that we are starting new programs. One thing that we're really proud of, ironically, when I came to the district, when I was going through the interview process, they weren't familiar with esports.
Yeah.
And I remember in the interview, folks were like, esports? I'm like, yes, it is true. Your child can now go to college.
That's right.
Playing video games. And to this moment right now, today, this is 6 years later, our esports teams have placed at state. They've gone to national.
Isn't that amazing?
They're on the road to go to national again. So going from not knowing to actually developing, that's what we do. So having that legacy, not just esports, but I think it is symbolic of what we do in Sylvania schools. I'm also proud of the fact that we were able to accomplish a strategic plan that keeps us focused. It serves as our GPS of where we're going. So I'm leaving that in the hands of my successor. And then also our master facilities plan, so that we are prepared with how our enrollment may fluctuate with, albeit preschool or in junior high. We're prepared to look at our buildings and go, what do we need to do to accommodate where growth may happen in the district or may decline in the district? So those are some things I'm happy to leave
Now,
if we were able to accomplish.
Are you truly retiring, or are you moving on to a new opportunity?
A new opportunity.
Okay, good.
Yes, I am. You know what? I'm too young to retire.
Yeah.
And I still have a lot of energy left. I could not go from, again, being a superintendent is such a lifestyle.
Yeah.
That's right.
I work 60 hours a week, sometimes 80 hours a week. It all depends. It ebbs and flows. But on the other hand, I can't do that and then go to zero.
Right.
And I just can't. I drive my dog nuts. I drive my guy nuts. I'd probably be a little insane for myself, my own well-being.
He mentioned that, actually. We got to know. Yeah, we got to know.
He texted me and said, ask her about that.
Please fill in her time.
Give her a job.
I'm excited to still contribute, but in a supportive role. Not so much a leadership role, but in a supportive role in education.
So we've asked this of everyone that comes on that has a high level, high stress, daunting mission-based vocation. But what do you do to decompress? Phone down if you can, although it's always close to you because you are interacting with our future, right? And it is a 24/7 job. We certainly believe that. But is there a guilty pleasure? Do you put on your headset and play esports? How do you decompress? How do you not be the superintendent for a little while?
You know what? I just like being outside. I like to garden.
Okay.
I really love to garden. I like spending time with my guy and my dog. Going
What's your
for
dog's
walks.
name?
Cricket.
Yeah.
Cricket the Cavapoo. He's so sweet.
Yeah.
But I also enjoy.
What is a Cavapoo?
It is a mix between. He's oh, you will care if I have pics. We can talk all day about Cricket.
Yeah.
In fact, he's typically part of my opening day speech every year. I have a picture of Cricket, so people know that he's very important to me. I think my guy sometimes gets jealous because his picture's on my phone. He's my screensaver now.
Yeah.
But anyway, Cricket is a combination between a King Charles Cavalier and a poodle. So he's
very
the cutest little thing. Now, if I digress, you were asking me, how do I relax?
Yeah.
Actually, we also like to travel when we can. We definitely like to travel, and sometimes it's just a weekend getaway. We love going to concerts.
Yes.
That's another
What's the
pleasure
best
of
concert
mine.
you've seen of late?
Oh, U2 at the Sphere.
Yeah, at the
so
Sphere.
At the Sphere.
Yeah.
It was it changed my fabric, honestly. It was amazing.
Was there a particular song or the whole boat?
All of them.
Did
it's
you cry?
U2.
It's
no,
U2,
but I had chills the whole time. The whole time. You're just immersed into this experience of videos and the music. And we happen to attend.
That's how Gretchen feels about Dave and Buster's.
Oh,
yeah.
She loves it.
I got a lot of tickets.
Lot of tokens.
We're talking with Dr. Veronica Motley, the superintendent of Sylvania Schools. It's not often we get to flip the script on an educator.
Yes.
Now give you a test.
Oh my gosh.
It's now time for
Gretchen's Wacky Quiz. Ba, ba, ba.
Good job, man.
There you go.
4 rapid fire questions from me. Gretchen's asking for your favorite thing in or about the region. And then you and Matt are going to describe the Sylvania area in exactly 9 words.
All right.
Not
I'm
8,
ready.
not 10,
9.
9.
Okay.
Which mythical creature do you wish was real?
A unicorn.
Love it.
They're not real?
Don't tell her.
Okay.
If you could
pass on that.
This I might regret
That's
this.
one this morning.
If you could talk to the president, what would you talk about?
Oh, wow.
Or would you talk to him at all?
Doesn't have to be our president, could be any president.
Any president? Oh, that's a good question. Education and how we plan for the future, especially when we don't know what's coming down the road for jobs. Like, how can we work together to make more opportunities for students? And on the top of that list, how can we make sure our students are bilingual?
Nice.
Great.
What chore do you absolutely despise doing?
Oh, cleaning the shower drain.
Ew.
It's not a chore, but it is one of those things, like
just
when you have to
move.
pull the hair out. I know, right?
move.
It makes me gag.
Yeah, as it
it
should.
totally
You should
makes
train
me
your dog to do
gag.
it.
Yeah. Oh my God.
And by dog, by dog, you mean guy.
How do you feel about clowns?
I love clowns.
Thank
They're
you.
fun. They're happy people.
Have you ever heard of a sad clown? It's a thing.
Yeah, isn't that the song "Send in the Clowns"?
Yeah.
Wasn't he a sad clown?
Yeah, he
That's
was.
all Gretchen does, just brings it down.
But we can make
Jeez,
them. Sad clowns are still.
They're still people.
They're still people.
In theory.
They still need love.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what.
Gretchen's the sad clown of
That's
this
the
show.
public service announcement right there. Clowns are people too. Doctor, your leadership is pouring over
What
this
is
entire show.
what is your number one most favorite thing, or what you consider to be the best thing about Sylvania or the region?
Oh, the people. And I would go a step further. Our students.
Yeah.
Our students are amazing. They're philanthropic. They're kind. They're studious. They're just well-rounded kiddos. I look at them when they are in high school and the things they accomplish.
Mm-hmm.
When I was in high school, I was skateboarding.
Yeah.
These kiddos.
God, I love you.
Yeah.
I was
Skateboarding too.
skateboarding.
Yeah.
They are doing things that are
What was your board?
philanthropic. Oh, it was something that was red and from Kmart. I
Yeah,
don't know.
sure.
It wasn't a name brand.
I love it.
But yeah, definitely the people and our students.
Thank you.
All right, 9 words. Let's do it. You ready, Doctor?
I'm making my palms sweat, but
That's
it's
all right.
pretty easy.
That's effective on most people.
Oh.
All right, so number 1, let's go people.
Yep.
And obviously the school system, 1 and
Yes.
2. Let's do it. You've got a few left here.
So is it about the school district or Sylvania?
Whatever you want to
Outdoor
do.
Sylvania parks for certain.
Okay, heard you say Metro Parks. Thank you.
Metro Parks too. Yes, Metro Parks. I would say Centennial Terrace.
Love it.
Concerts.
Concerts, yes.
Amazing.
You got 2 words left. You're crushing it.
I would say, being downtown.
Downtown's, yep.
Well, like our Sylvania or Main
beautiful
Street
downtown.
and our activities.
Yes.
It's a quaint little spot, cute little stores, boutiques, great restaurants. I love the fall festival.
Yes.
I love what we're
It's a
able
good
to do
event.
and bring people over from all over to come to
That's right.
Sylvania.
I think we've got the answer for the last one. Cricket.
Cricket's awesome.
That's the way to close.
Dr. Veronica Motley, Superintendent of Sylvania Schools, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah.
This was fantastic. Thank you for having me again.
When we come back, we'll wrap up this Monday edition of the 419.
Every day when you're walking
You laughed with us. You learned with us.
Hi, neighbor.
We made sure your childhood was special. Memories that could only be provided by PBS. For generations, we've given you programs that made a difference. Programs that entertained, informed, and inspired. And today is no different. This is WGTE Public Media in Toledo. It's where you belong.
Introducing The Local Thread, a community news series uniting voices and storytellers from across the region. In partnership with La Prensa, the Toledo Free Press, the Sojourner's Truth, Toledo Public Schools, and Rethinking Jails and Justice. The Local Thread brings you stories and conversations that connect our community. Hear it weeknights at 7 on FM 91 with early access on podcast platforms each morning. The Local Thread, only on WGTE.
Welcome back into the 419's wrap up a Mayor Monday edition of the 419. We took a tour of Sylvania, Ohio with Mark Frye and Dr. Veronica Motley. They were great.
Yeah, very good.
Yep, I've known Mark for quite some time. He's a great guy, and Sylvania's been made better by his leadership, and will continue to.
I continue to be fascinated by individuals that sort of, see the fire and choose to move into it, right? And I feel like that's, he was appointed to mayor as the president of city council, kind of stepped into that role when his predecessor resigned. And then just, it was like, I'm still going to run for the seat as well.
We've got work to do.
Yeah, that's right. Love it. And of course, Dr. Motley is
spectacular.
This is
my first time meeting her.
Me too.
Yeah, so what an honor. Yes.
Yeah, she's great. I got a chance to meet her shortly after she started, kind of having some conversations around alumni relations.
Did you work
and
there as well?
development. I didn't. She didn't hire me.
Yeah.
Oh.
I didn't bring that up. I didn't bring that up. but-
Further sign of leadership and vision.
Okay, now wait a second.
Yeah.
If you missed any part of the show, three great opportunities to enjoy it. 7 a.m. on YouTube, 3 p.m. on FM 91 in Toledo, Bryan, Defiance, and Lima, and 6 p.m. on WGTE Connects channel 30.4. Of course, I keep saying 3, but there's like a million. You can catch it online, WGTE.org/the419, or you can download the new and improved WGTE app.
It's a mouthful.
I get choked up.
You love talking about apps.
Just thinking about it.
Yeah, that's right.
It's so new and it's so improved.
Yeah.
Kevin's father was killed by an app.
It makes him sad every time he says it.
My dad is alive and well.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, this is just it. An app has saved Kevin's dad's life.
He's brought back to life.
Thanks to our guests for being on the show, and thanks to you for joining us as well. We'll see you back tomorrow for a Tuesday edition of the 419, powered by WGTE.
The 419, powered by WGTE, is made possible in part by supporters like you. Thank you.